I feel really depressed. Just for a moment, I want you to imagine your mind is like a garden. Bear with me on this. Right now it's overgrown with weeds. There's binge eating, there's stress eating, there's emotional eating. Every time you try a new diet or a quick fix, it's like cutting the top of the weeds, but they keep growing back because the roots are still there. What you need is someone to help show you how to cut these habits out from the root, and more importantly, show you how to plant new healthy seeds, positive habits and thoughts that will change your relationship with food and with yourself for good. How do I know this? Because I've overcome my own binge eating and weight journey, and I now work with other women to get the same. I have literally thousands of success stories, so strap in tight because I'm going to give you the key to unlock the secrets of quitting binge eating and getting you food freedom. I feel really depressed. I can't stop thinking about food. It controls my life 24/7. Even when I'm finishing off one meal, I'm thinking about the next. And as for sweets, cokes, chocolate, I can't get enough of it. It is out of control. And the weight is just piling on. Okay, what have you tried so far to overcome this? Everything. I've done all of the slimming clubs, all of the diets, you name it, I've tried it. I've even had tons of therapy and I'm still stuck. In fact, it's just getting worse. And now I'm even considering having a gastric band. I absolutely hate myself for not being able to overcome this. And when I look in the mirror, ugh. Well, to be honest, I just try and avoid all mirrors. I feel like I'll never, ever, ever be able to stay in control around food. This is exactly where my clients are at when they come to me. Have you considered that you might not be doing the right things? What? Are you mad? Of course these things work. I see ads on Facebook every day telling me that these things work. I see it with my own eyes. Have this shake and it will solve all your problems. See a counsellor and talk about your feelings and you'll feel better. These things work. It's just me that's the problem. I'm the only person in the world who cannot change this. In fact, I've just signed up to a 12-week cabbage-infused shake course, which will help me. How long have you been suffering from this for? Oh, forgive me, do you want some? Since I was about 12 or 13? Decades then. All right, cheeky, no need to be rude about it. I think I only look 25. Anyway, back to the problem. With all the therapy that you've done, do you know why you developed an unhealthy relationship with food? Well, not exactly, but I do know that I have lots of trauma in my past and terrible parents, and that I hate myself. And that's what we talk about every week. Right, did you know that the mind can't tell the difference between past and present? So the whole time you go over the past each week, you are staying in that space. And when you've got so much pain going on, you will want to feel better. So you'll use food to take away that pain, which just keeps you in this loop. Of course, we need to understand the past because it determines how we behave today. But if you want to move on from it and change your actions, you've got to learn to let it go. Now this is making sense. I'm holding on to the past, which is making me miserable, so I use food to feel better. So what you're telling me is that if I put the past to rest, I'll stop overeating, right? Well, yes, but not quite. It's a little more complex than just holding on to the past. There's a lot of other emotional weight that we need to get rid of in order to develop a healthy relationship with food and then get rid of the physical weight. You see, the mind needs oxytocin, serotonin and dopamine in order to work well. And when we don't give it those feel-good hormones in the right way, it will go elsewhere to find it. And of course, food is that quick and easy fix. But what do you mean by that? Look at it this way. If you deal with your past trauma and you let it go, but you still hate yourself on a daily basis, you will always use food to feel better. If you've never been taught how to cope with your emotions, you'll always use food to push them down. If you believe unhealthy beliefs about yourself, like I'm not good enough, I don't matter, I've got no value, then food will feel like your friend as it calms down all of that pain. Unhealthy boundaries, being a people pleaser, putting yourself last, the things you've learned about food, like you've got to eat everything on your plate, these all play a part in why food has such a hold over you. There are lots of different puzzle pieces that we have to look at and change in order to not need food in the same way. And each person's puzzle pieces are different. But can you see what the common theme is here? No. The common theme is that everything comes from within you. which is brilliant news because that means you have the power to change things. If you think of your mind like a computer software system, it's got some internal programming that's been hardwired one way and your behaviours match this programming. Over the years, you've been dieting and you've just been ignoring that programming, whereas what you really need to do is rewire the software in order to get a completely different outcome. Until you update the software in your mind, the behaviours will stay the same. This is starting to make sense. Take the people pleasing, for example. Maybe as a child you learned that you had to please a parent in order to feel loved. As a child, we do what we can to survive, and if you weren't loved, what would that mean for the child? So you do everything you can in order to please, and therefore you think, be loved. And then that pattern plays throughout your life. So as an adult, you please, 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 and you put everyone else before you because of that faulty programming. And when we put everyone else first, we get this passive aggressiveness in our minds that leads to wanting to feel better and calm everything down with food. I think I'm getting it. I can't diet out my thoughts. Instead, I have to look at all the glitches and programming in the software of my mind and update that in order to change my patterns of behaviour permanently. Exactly that. Okay, you make it sound so simple, but I have no idea what to do or where to start. Well, that's no problem at all because I have a free masterclass, The 5 Shifts to End Emotional Eating Forever, which will give you everything you need to beat the binge for good. Okay then, see you again very soon. No, you won't. I've got all I need. And I'll leave the popcorn with you. Just click on the link in my bio for access. And of course, if you've loved this video, please do like and subscribe. I would love it and Hope would too, wouldn't you? Hey girl, Hope, you'd love that, wouldn't you? Yes, you would.